Back to the deep dive. Today we're going to really unpack some serious strategic thinking.
You got it. Straight from the source.
Yeah. Chapter 4 of Sun Tzu's The Art of War. It's called Tactical Dispositions.
Ooh, good.
So much gold in here. And I know you listeners, you're all about maximizing your time right, getting the most knowledge the fastest way possible.
We hear you. Efficiency is key.
This is it. This is the express lane to a core strategic concept.
Absolutely. We're going to cut right to the chase and pull out the wisdom from this chapter. How setting yourself up the right way.
Even before you actually do anything.
Yes. Before you engage, before any action.
That pre-work basically makes everything else so much easier, so much more likely to go your way.
It's huge.
And we're talking about anything, leading a team, launching a project, even just like navigating your day-to-day.
It all applies.
This stuff's timeless.
And don't worry, we're not just going to sit here and talk theory. We're going straight to Sun Tzu's words.
Real-world examples, too.
Making it practical.
Making it relevant for you today. So, okay, let's jump right in. Chapter 4 kicks off with this bold statement.
Okay.
The good fighters of old first put themselves beyond the possibility of defeat, and then waited for an opportunity of defeating the enemy. Like, whoa! Just let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of how we usually think about things. Right?
Totally. We're always like, how am I going to win? What's my attack plan?
Yeah, our focus goes straight to the offense.
But Sun Tzu's saying, hold on, pump the brakes. There's a more fundamental step.
Secure yourself. Make yourself undefeatable. That's step one.
Like flipping the whole script.
And he actually says this later in the chapter, too. To secure ourselves against defeat lies in our own hands.
Right.
But the opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. Take control of what you can control.
Which is your own preparedness.
Exactly. So, key takeaway number one right off the bat. Before you even start thinking about how to win, make sure you can't lose. Build that strong defense first.
It's so powerful. It's like that saying, offense wins games, but defense wins championships.
Right.
And then Sun Tzu goes on and says, hence the saying, one may know how to conquer without being able to do it.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's like you can have all the knowledge, right? Like you can study all the strategies.
You can read all the books.
You can listen to all the podcasts.
You got the moves in your head, but then when it's go time,
yeah,
you just can't execute. You're not set up for it.
You might know what to do, but you haven't created the conditions to actually do it effectively.
So true. I think a lot of us have been there. It's that gap between potential and reality.
Total aha moment for me.
Just knowing the tactics isn't enough. You need the right environment, that solid foundation to actually apply what you know.
Okay, so we've got this idea of securing yourself against defeat as the priority.
Yes.
But then Sun Tzu takes it a step further. He connects this to the whole idea of defense and offense as indicators of strength.
Ooh, this is where it gets interesting.
Okay, so he says, security against defeat implies defensive tactics.
Yeah.
Ability to defeat the enemy means taking the offensive. Standing on the defensive indicates insufficient strength, attacking a superabundance of strength.
I mean, think about where your energy is going, right? Where your focus is. If you're always on the defensive, always reacting to threats.
Putting out fires.
It kind of implies you're spread thin, right? Maybe even a little vulnerable.
You're just trying to hold on.
But when you can go on the offensive,
right?
When you're the one dictating the terms,
yeah,
it usually means you've got a solid base. More resources, maybe, more advantageous position. You've got that strength built in already.
Like a well-prepared company launching a new product.
Oh, yeah.
Versus some struggling startup just scrambling to survive.
Totally different scenarios.
The well-prepared company, they can focus on innovation, grabbing market share.
Being proactive.
Well, the startup's just like, please let us make payroll this month.
It's all about that initial setup, the tactical disposition. That's what dictates how effective you can be later on.
Makes such a difference. Okay, so we've talked about securing ourselves against defeat and how our defensive or offensive posture kind of reflects our underlying strength.
You're right.
But Sun Tzu also paints this fascinating picture of what he calls the clever fighter.
Oh, yeah, I love this part.
It takes the whole preparation thing to a whole other level. What stands out to you about his description?
Well, he says that the clever fighter not only wins, but excels in winning with ease.
Right. It's not about those dramatic come-from-behind victories.
No, it's like winning without breaking a sweat. Almost effortlessly.
And then he says something so interesting. He's like, these kinds of wins, they don't actually get a lot of praise or recognition.
Because they look too easy.
Yeah, people are like, oh, well, they had it easy. Of course they won. But the reality is,
It's because they were so well prepared.
they didn't make mistakes, they just executed flawlessly.
Exactly. Sun Tzu says it perfectly. He wins his battles by making no mistakes. Making no mistakes is what establishes the certainty of victory, for it means conquering an enemy that is already defeated.
Whoa. The victory is practically a given because the groundwork was laid so thoroughly. It's about creating a situation where,
Success is almost inevitable.
yeah, right from the start, the real mastery lies in preventing mistakes in the first place.
Yeah.
So the win becomes almost automatic.
And this really ties back to what we were talking about at the beginning, about gaining knowledge thoroughly but quickly.
Totally. It's all about efficiency.
Superior preparation is the ultimate shortcut to success.
It's like victory before the battle even begins.
Exactly. Sensei says the victorious strategist only seeks battle after the victory has been won, whereas he who is destined to defeat first fights and afterwards looks for victory. Such a crucial distinction.
It's like the person who's going to win already sees the outcome as pretty much decided before they even commit major resources or enter that risky phase of actually engaging directly.
Right. They're not hoping for a miracle. They're not scrambling to figure it out on the fly. They've done the work up front.
The person headed for defeat, on the other hand.
They're kind of just hoping that in the middle of all the chaos, that somehow a path to victory will magically appear.
It's a completely different mindset.
Absolutely. Okay, let's make this real for everyone listening. Think about a business, let's say.
Okay.
They spend months, maybe even years, on really in-depth market research.
Understanding their customer.
Absolutely. Developing an amazing product and building a really, really solid distribution network.
Getting all their ducks in a row.
Yes. And they do all of that before they even launch a big marketing campaign.
Before they even make their first sale.
They've already won a huge part of the battle before they even really start fighting.
That initial groundwork, that solid foundation they've built, it makes their eventual offense, the marketing and sales, so much more effective and way less risky.
Exactly. They're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. They've got a plan.
Or think about sports.
Yeah.
You see teams that spend countless hours watching game film, analyzing their opponents, practicing specific plays until they're second nature.
And making sure their athletes are in top physical and mental condition.
They're showing up on game day with a massive advantage.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not even visible to the casual observer.
Right. It's all that unseen preparation.
And the game itself almost becomes just a confirmation. It's playing out what's already been set in motion.
All those grueling practices, all that film study, that's tactical disposition in action.
Yeah.
It's setting the stage for success long before the game even starts.
And it's not just in these big competitive arenas, right? Think about leadership.
Oh, absolutely.
In your own life, at work.
Yeah.
A leader who takes the time to build a really strong, cohesive team.
With clear roles and responsibilities.
Yeah, where everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing. And they foster open communication so people feel comfortable speaking up.
Right. Psychological safety is so important.
And they're also thinking ahead, anticipating potential roadblocks.
They're playing that mental chess game.
That leader is way more likely to succeed with any project or initiative they take on.
No doubt about it.
Because they've got that prepared disposition, a high-functioning team.
It's like they're already halfway there before they even start.
So much of success comes down to laying that groundwork. It makes me think about the role of discipline in all of this.
Oh, yeah. Huge.
Like how important is discipline in creating those advantageous tactical positions?
Well, Sun Tzu talks about the consummate leader, right?
Yeah.
And he says, this leader cultivates the moral law and strictly adheres to method and discipline. Thus, it is in his power to control success. So it's not just about knowing what to do.
Right.
It's about having the discipline to actually do it consistently.
It's like the unglamorous but absolutely essential work that makes all the flashy success possible.
For sure. It's about showing up every day and doing the things that need to be done even when you don't feel like it.
Which brings us to what Sun Tzu actually lays out as the steps in military method.
Okay.
He gives us this progression. Measurement. Secondly, estimation of quantity. Thirdly, calculation. Fourthly, balancing of chances. Fifthly, victory.
It's so logical.
Like a scientific method for winning.
Right.
It starts with a really clear assessment of the situation. That's the measurement piece. Understanding what you're actually dealing with.
Knowing your terrain.
Exactly. Then you move on to estimation of quantity. So assessing how much of everything you have, the resources, the manpower, whatever it is, and also the scale of the challenge you're facing.
Right, sizing the problem.
Then comes calculation. This is where you really weigh all the different options and potential outcomes.
Running the numbers.
Figuring out the best path forward.
Game theory stuff.
And then after that, balancing of chances.
Being honest with yourself about how likely you are to succeed based on everything you've assessed so far.
It's like a reality check.
Gotta be objective.
And only after all of that comes victory.
It's the natural result of following the process.
And Sun Tzu really emphasizes how interconnected these steps are. He says, measurement owes its existence to earth. Estimation of quantity to measurement, calculation to estimation of quantity, balancing of chances to calculation, and victory to balancing of chances. Each step builds directly on the one before it.
It's like a chain. If one link is weak,
The whole thing falls apart.
exactly. If your initial assessment, your measurement is off, then everything that follows is going to be skewed.
You're building on a shaky foundation.
Recipe for disaster.
Like imagine you're planning a big project at work.
Okay, yeah.
Before you even start doing the actual work, you need a crystal clear understanding of the scope. That's the measurement. Then you need an accurate estimate of how much time it's going to take and what resources you'll need. That's the estimation.
Got it.
Then you got to calculate the potential risks and rewards.
Do a cost-benefit analysis.
And finally, balance the chances of success based on all of that.
Yeah.
If you skip any of those steps or if you do them poorly.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Your chances of achieving that victory, of actually finishing the project well and on time,
They plummet.
it's such a simple idea, right? Like
Yeah.
methodical preparation.
It seems so obvious.
But how often do we see people or even entire organizations just like charge ahead without doing that crucial groundwork?
All the time, we get excited, we see an opportunity, we just want to go, go, go.
We want to skip to the good part.
But that's how you end up making costly mistakes. And that brings us to some really powerful imagery at the end of the chapter. Sun Tzu uses this amazing analogy. He says, a victorious army opposed to a routed one is as a pound's weight placed in the scale against a single grain.
Such a vivid image of the sheer difference in strengths, right?
Oh yeah, it's not even close.
The prepared force has so much inherent advantage, so much more likelihood of success that the actual engagement almost feels like an afterthought.
Like it's already a done deal. And he ends with this absolutely incredible picture, he says. The onrush of a conquering force is like the bursting of pent-up waters into a chasm 1,000 fathoms deep.
Whoa. Gives you chills.
I know, right? You get this sense of overwhelming, unstoppable power. And it's all because of those effective tactical dispositions that were put in place beforehand.
It's like all that meticulous preparation. It builds up this incredible potential energy. And then when the moment comes to release it,
It's just rapid, decisive, practically impossible to resist.
so what's the main message you think our listeners should really take away from this deep dive into tactical dispositions?
For me, it's crystal clear. Victory in any area of life isn't just about the fight itself. It's overwhelmingly determined by what you do before the fight even begins. It's about setting yourself up so thoroughly that success becomes the most likely outcome. Victory truly comes before the battle.
It's about being proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah.
Think about shaping the conditions for your success. So for everyone listening out there, really think about this. Where in your own life, in your work, in your ambitions, can you start applying these principles of tactical disposition? Where can you focus on putting yourself beyond the possibility of defeat right now?
Start with that foundation. Build those solid systems. Cultivate those high-performing teams, because this is what it means to be truly well-informed.
Yeah. You're getting strategic insights. You're understanding these timeless principles.
And you're not getting bogged down in information overload. You're cutting through the noise and getting straight to what matters.
And if you're finding this deep dive valuable, if you're getting those aha moments,
please do us a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button.
yeah, and share the deep dive with anyone else you think might benefit from these conversations.
We're still working hard to reach that 1,000 subscriber milestone.
And every new listener, every new subscriber, it helps us grow and bring these discussions to more people.
It really does make a difference.
So thank you for being part of the journey.
And speaking of journeys, next time on the deep dive, we're moving on to Chapter 5 of The Art of War, Energy.
Ooh, yes. This is a good one.
We'll be exploring how to manage your resources, your momentum, your strength, to create an unstoppable force.
And it builds perfectly on everything we've been talking about today. Preparation leading to truly effective action.
So to leave you with one final thought, to really ponder building on everything we've explored today, consider a time in your life when a seemingly inevitable success or failure actually actually turned out to be the result of all the unseen groundwork, all those tactical dispositions that were laid down long before the final outcome was ever obvious.
Until our next deep dive, keep thinking strategically.